Okay, the next video clip, we're going to solve for the proportions. Yeah, proportions rule. Remember, on a proportion, you're going to cross multiply. The product of the means is equal to the product of the extremes. So I'm going to take my negative 10 and multiply it by n minus 1. So negative 10 times n minus 1 equals, I'm going to take my negative 6 and multiply it by n minus 2. Now then I'm going to distribute, so negative 10n plus 10 equals negative 6n plus 12. So I just distribute the negative 10 and the negative 6. One of these numbers is wrong, the whole thing's wrong. Now then the smallest n is negative 10, so I'm going to move it over here. And that means I'm going to move my number over here, so the opposite of plus 12 is minus 12. So I move my negative 10 over here, I put a 10 in under it, move my 12 over here, a minus 12. 10 minus 12 is negative 2 equals negative 6 plus 10 is 4n. Divide by 4, and you're going to get n equal negative 1/2. Okay, on this one right here, we're going to cross multiply again. So I'm going to take n plus 10 and multiply it by 6. So 6 times n plus 10. Use the distributive property. Then I'm going to take negative 3 and multiply it by n minus 2. So you set up two distributive properties. Now we're going to multiply. Distribute the 6. You get 6n plus 60 equals. Distribute the negative 3. You're going to get negative 3n plus 6. Which n is smaller? The negative 3n smaller. So the negative 3n moves over here. I'm going to add. Move the 60 over here. The opposite of plus 60 is a negative 60. So 6n plus 3n is 9n. And 6 minus 60 is a negative 54. Divide each side by 9, and you'll get n equal negative 6. Okay, the next ones are the fun ones. Sorry about that. Okay, the next ones are the fun ones. Solve for the variable. These rule. Okay. So we're going to solve this for x. Okay, so the x is right here. Okay, to do this, let's move the y over. So to move the y over, we're going to minus y. So we'll have z minus y equals m over x. Now then, I need to get rid of the x because it's on the bottom. So I'm going to put a parentheses around this, and I'm going to put an x over here and an x over here. Everyone see what I'm doing? The opposite of divide by x is to multiply x. So I'm multiplying the whole side by x, and over here, my x's are going to divide out, aren't I? So that gives me x parentheses z minus y equals m. Now then, to get the x all by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by the z minus y. This is kind of tricky. So when I do this, the z minus y's cancel out, and I'm going to be left with x equals m over z minus y. Okay, right here, we're going to solve this one for x. Same thing. I need to get rid of the x. So the x is on the bottom, so I'm going to put the x on the top, and I'm going to multiply both sides by x. That's going to eliminate the x over here. X divided by x is 1, and 1 times n is m, equals pn in parentheses times x. Now then, to get the x all by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by pn. The pn's on the right cancel out, and that's going to leave me x equals m over pn. Ho, 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 ho. What a blast. Okay, right here, we're going to solve this for x. Our x is right here. So we need to move the y over. You want to get rid of all the subtracting and adding on the side with your variable. So you're going to get z minus y equals xm. And then we're going to divide both sides and divide both sides by m, aren't we? Make sure you put one big fraction bar on the left. So the m's cross out, and you're going to be left with x equals z minus y over m. What a blast. Okay, right here we want to solve for a, which is right here. So all we got to do is put two fraction bars, and we got to divide by the m and the b, don't we? When you divide by the m and the b's divide out to 1, leaving you a. So a equals z over mb. Don't be frustrated that these answers look kind of funky.